B stream is alive and well once again, and that means someone is going home. I am 40 Lions, joined by Ketchup. Ketchup, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. We've just started our first match of the day, which concluded on the main stream. Now I'm immediately over here. The Quake never ends, and I'm here for it. So, pick some bands. It looks like we're going the Deep Embrace, Veil, and then Insomnia. The Deep Embrace, we have psygib picking Athena, Yup with the Strogan Pika. At the Veil, it will be Scalebearer versus Nyx, but this time it's actually psygib playing the Nyx, so that's really interesting. And then Insomnia, final destination, if we reach it, Death Knight from psygib, and then Yup picking the Sorlag.
I mean, you hope that it goes all three. We said it yesterday, especially in the lower bracket, you want to see both players fighting for their lives. Yesterday didn't really happen. There was a lot of 2-0s in the lower bracket, kind of heartbreaking. We lost Dandy King, CNZ, Proximo, and Garpy yesterday. More bodies on the way because that's the way the tournament works, Ketchup. However heartbreaking it is, that's the way it's got to be.
I mean, yeah, as heartbreaking as it is, in a 1v1 game, someone has to win and someone has to lose. That's just the nature of the beast. It's why it's punishing and it's why we love it. But if I have my ears working correctly, I do believe, I think we're jumping into our first map real soon. So thanks for joining us, by the way. Remember, keep both of these streams open today. You don't want to miss a single match. And if it's anything like yesterday, things are going to continue to be quite excellent, I think.
Another 15-hour day for you, Ketchup. You poor man. I hope you got some
easy, mate. Easy, mate.
Those are rookie numbers.
Good to go.
Boost those numbers. Yeah. I think we're going to be doing 9 or 10 matches in a row here on the lower bracket. So
good luck, 40. Love you.
Yeah, I got like 7 coffees. We should be all right.
Perfect.
In early day, but it's always a great day when there's
What
Quake,
time is it for you over there?
7 in the morning right now. Call time was like 6. So. Ain't no thing, baby. Let's go.
That's fine. That's just esports times, man.
That's just, esports, baby.
That's the life we lead. Ride or die. But as we now jump in here, looks like we're checking out things from psygib's point of view first. And we literally just saw Maxter with Athena on Insomnia, and it was absolutely disgusting. Disgusting.
Yeah. I don't know what Maxter's on, but someone needs to check someone needs to drug test that boy, because that was just quite the performance, quite the shellacking. And right now we have a skirmish right off the bat. Both players extremely weak. psygib finds the clutch rail to put himself up by 1 early.
But Yup, instantly able to chase that one down and return in kind. I like that awareness, right? We've just started the match, but Yup knows what the situation is, knows when the refrag is possible, and just pushes all the way in. A risky fight there for psygib, but chucking all that plasma. Eventually, enough of it's going to land, and it will do. Yup, looking to start fighting instantly, getting a good spawn there with the rocket, so able to start putting some pressure on.
Does get away. Looks like he might settle a little bit here. It was the fight for the heavy.
Wow.
Never mind. psygib just like that melted down to 27 HP. T25s to work with and a light armor. But wow, that LG from Yup was absolutely brutal.
I mean, like, in a LAN setting, being able to take someone by surprise and just get that free burst of damage where everything just feels so good, it's going to be so much more devastating than it ever would be outside of it. I think that both players are aware, right? Everyone knows. We've spent the last kind of couple of days playing on LAN and getting familiar with how the game feels, because, it's LAN. It's going to feel a little bit different. Some weapons are going to feel better than others. Some weapons are going to feel absolutely out of this world good. And right now, I think for a lot of people, the rail seems to be one of those. The rocket absolutely can be one of those. Some players weren't so sure about how the LG felt on LAN compared to, because of just, the nature of the weapon, I suppose. But, I mean, we've seen people do massive damage with it, so one would think players are now getting a bit more comfortable with it, 40.
Yeah, shouts to Sirius. I think he was hitting 58% LG in lower bracket yesterday. Just
I heard.
Monster. But yeah, I mean, LAN, this is the way it's meant to be played. As psygib picks up yet another frag, 3-1 and the heavy. This is exactly what everybody wanted. It's been a long, long time, Ketchup, but we're finally here. Well, some of us are there, but either way, the show should be fantastic, and the game should be fantastic all day long. psygib looking to rail off the spawn here, swaps the machine gun, good damage, consistent damage, and now he's got him cornered, and Yup has no choice but to go down once again.
An aggressive push in a situation that Yup really wasn't realistically going to survive. There was too much stack on the side of psygib. Psygib really trapping you there with the Athena. A rocket one way and, I mean, herself the other. How do you get away? Answer is you can't. And 2 delicious little rockets there for psygib, making it currently 5-1. Nice little spawn rail as well. So, yup, forced onto the back foot instantly. psygib absolutely heard that light being picked up. So, we're going to know the situation. The situation right now is good. Even with that rail that you just had to concede there, psygib's still much more healthy. Oh, another rocket 40! How much damage is psygib going to land with these Pyrex every time?
I don't know, but it's just, that's what you want to see. If you're in the lower bracket and you're playing for your tournament life, you want to be able to see that 100 damage every time. So psygib coming up big, 6-1 right now. Rockets on point. Just overall solid gameplay right now. As he's attacking this Mega, yup, trying to concede. Okay, he gets in on it and hits some good damage. psygib actually has to respect it for the time being. A little bit of a float from down below. So now they're trying to make the mad dash for the Heavy.
A lot of those preemptive rockets, but Yup was able to take the Heavy, and that was the end result. Even if Yup went down there, I mean, denying it and shutting it down, one way of bringing a comeback together. Your opponent is ahead, sure, but this is Deep Embrace. Those comebacks can be really fast. So if you're able to shut down those resources, then it's a great way to mount one. psygib, weak again, even with that light, has to retreat and pick up some of those light little health bubbles. Oh, good timing. Yup, now running through. Sorry, I was watching that through psygib's point of view. He kind of almost perfectly timed a light health. I was like, oh, okay, I see you, I see you.
He's timing everything on the map, but he might go down here. Good defensive rocket to keep Yup out of range, and another one as well. Fantastic defensive rocket from psygib here. Oh no, Yup in a bad way, and psygib finds the mark through the drive-through window. 7-2.
I've been watching 40. I've been watching this map through psygib's point of view the whole time. The amount of 100 damage rockets he's hit has been unreasonable. Like, this rocket damage is ridiculous. I'm gonna check these stats actually and have a quick look. So far, psygib, 2.7k damage, but 1.5 of it has been through the rocket launcher.
Absolutely insane. Especially given the fact that, you know, he's dealing with a slight, you know, stack disadvantage playing Athena. Really squishy champion, but super mobile. As Yup does hit a great rail to start, but he's going to need a lot more as we're past the midway mark here, down by 6. And
another 100!
Just like that. He just can't stop collecting them.
How much rocket damage, 40, is psygib? The existence of those rockets, Yup can't get a foot into anything. You think there's a fight to be had, and then boom, 100 of your life is just gone in an instant. What does that do to your decision? Because now you've gone into a fight, and okay, I need to now assume that every time there's going to be a fight, or I'm going to present myself with an item, I need to understand that I'm going into this fight with 100 health less than I should have. Because he's always going to hit those those 100 damage rockets so far.
Yeah, I mean, it really ruins your game plan, because even if you're making the right choices, you're still getting punished. So you're just like, what does a man do? That's a fantastic rail from Yup, and now he has an opportunity to try and close out this frag, nice! And he does! What a shot!
That's one way to start things off, 40. We have just under 4 minutes on the clock. Now you are against a light champion, so if the stars align, you're able to establish pressure off spawn, keep those frags clean, then maybe this comeback can be made, but psygib's going to know this more than anyone. The main objective fresh off spawn is establish an item if there is one nearby. If you're near like a light armor or something, just picking up even a single armor fresh off spawn is going to make that one frag so much harder to obtain. And then of course, the mobility. Strog is known for the speed and the crouch slide, sure, but doesn't have anywhere near the same verticality. I don't think anyone in the game has the same verticality that Athena has.
Oh no, she's special. She's special. And these rockets and rail from psygib! Wow. Yup, just escaping. psygib is keeping that damage up. He feels this dub as he's 3 minutes away from it. Taking a quick look, he's up to 2,000 rocket damage now, is psygib. Laying the hurt down on Yup. Yup praying for the Mega, and just like that, it always happens, catch up. You go down right when the item spawns. Very unfortunate.
The importance of timing it perfectly. When the pressure's on and you're in this kind of setting, let's not forget, you know, Quake is a punishing game, brutal. It requires so much perfection, concentration, timing of the items, and yeah, I mean, we're sitting here thinking, oh, how have you lost timing on the items, or even if it's by a second. got to remember, this is a stressful situation. This is lower bracket. This is an elimination series.
Tournament life on the line all day on Stream B. This is where the tournament life comes to die, Ketchup. Unfortunately, I have the honors.
But also
sending people into the nether realm. Yeah, that's true. Ooh. All right. But 2 minutes? You think this is possible? All due respect, I don't think so.
No, 40, I do not.
Yeah, there's not time. I mean, it's just rough, especially with a map like Deep Embrace and how fast it is. If you let it spiral too far out of control, there's just not much you can do. That's why playing defensive and passive really comes up big sometimes for you, and just not showing up sometimes. Disappearing off the map for a minute or two might actually help you. But 13-4 with a minute and a half left is trying to get some frags on the way out here. Does snag that one, but so much damage coming out from psygib. Could potentially trade with a machine gun, but this is all going to come down to map number 2, which is going to be Veil. It's going to be Mix versus Scale. And that's quite the matchup in and
There's
of
quite a lot
itself.
to talk about, and to be fair, I think given the fact that on the B stream we really do, because, I mean, full transparency, folks, there's a lot of matches to get through, and of course we have the main stream too, so to really keep things running as smoothly as possible, there really isn't going to be much chit-chat from us in between those matches. So let's start talking about Veil now. We know this map is going to be done, there's really nothing Yup can do to bring this one back. psygib just played phenomenally well. Let's talk about Veil, because that is a map that psygib has often been quite good on. It's a combat-heavy map, and psygib is a combat-heavy player. The dynamic for this 140 is that we're doing Scale Bearer versus Nyx. So the stack difference puts a lot of pressure on psygib to play this one right.
Absolutely. The Ghost Walk is going to come in handy a lot, so you're going to see a lot of, hopefully, violent control from psygib here as he takes down Yup yet again.
Another 100.
Yeah, usually, you mentioned that psygib usually plays the scale himself, so Yup is actually getting in on the scale. psygib's bringing out the Nyx, and we're going to see if Yup can kind of get it together and take us to a map number 3, but for now, psygib sitting pretty, up a map in the lower bracket, but still, dubs are dubs, and from now here on out, you got to string them all together all throughout the tournament if you want to make it to the big show.
There's been different levels of, I think, comfort under these circumstances. Some players have really sort of risen to the occasion. Others are, you can kind of almost feel that there's an element of like a slow start. And I don't want that to sound disrespectful. It's just that some players that we've been talking to, some of the more less experienced in this kind of setting players have all been like, oh yeah, when I was on that stage, it was terrifying. And that's, it's not like, it's a different setting, right? We've seen some of the other years where there's been like the QuakeCon finals where there's been a live crowd. It's been at QuakeCon, obviously. So there's been a lot of people sort of making noise and cheering, and maybe sometimes not cheering. When BJ's about to die and he goes, ah, the whole crowd goes, ah, like little things like that still make the live environment feel different. Like something that you need to get affiliated with, which can really affect your game. This one's a lot more, I think, intense because it's a studio setting. You've got the two sort of setups behind the main stage. You've got the very sophisticated or designated player booths on the other side, where these B stream matches, players will be at their own designated area to play those matches. Like, it's very serious here. You know what I mean? Like, we're all having a good time, but it's very, very like serious. I was trying to find another word for serious, but I literally couldn't. So it just came out twice. Love it.
I mean, this is the big show. Obviously, you want to get to the last match in the grand finals for the big show, but this is it. And LAN isn't important just because the game feels better. It's everything you said. It's lights, it's cameras, it's actions, it's other players staring at you from up close. This time, unfortunately, no crowd, but sometimes we have a live crowd, and all of that is very hard to acclimate to if you haven't played in that setting a lot. If you don't have the reps, if you can't just kind of shrug it all off and say, all right, just another day in the office. Some of that for the newer players that are new to the setting, like you said, will just kind of wane in the back of their head, like, did everyone see that? Like, is everyone staring at me? It's really hot under these lights. Oh my god, another camera. Like, all of that stuff going on while you're trying to time items for 10 minutes and just fend off all your opponents that are bloodthirsty in the server. It all adds up, and it's all a lot of pressure for some of these players. Absolutely.
I mean, you love it though, because it's an initiation that everyone must take. It's something that everyone has to deal with, and it does make you a better player on the other side of it. You'll always have players talk
100%.
about, how did your first LAN go? I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of players out there that are now amazing at their games, where if you say to them, how did your first LAN go? They'll go, oh, it's horrible. Like, I got absolutely annihilated. But you know what? I felt great afterwards, because nothing is new anymore. It's just a matter of becoming accustomed to the new environment. Now, we have jumped into Vale. We were talking before, Yup, on the Scale Bearer. And a champion that, I've got to say, I mentioned this yesterday, but just on the off chance that some newer people might be watching today, we're on LAN. That's no mystery. However, quite a few players are saying that they feel like Scale Bearer isn't as good on LAN. Vale is a different story because the map is so small that Scale Bearer's overall utility is going to be a wonderful choice. But in other maps that we see Scale Bearer, I don't think we've really seen it at all. On a map like this, though, where you just pinball him over and over again, psygib's going to get annihilated. Oh god, that's gross.
And a nice finishing rocket. Sorry to cut you off there, but this string of frags from Yup is fantastic, and this is exactly what he needs. But you're right, the risk with Scale, especially on LAN, is that he's a big boy, and with the LG and the way that the game plays on LAN, it is a threat to be able to pick him and kind of deal with that hitbox. And psygib, we saw there, dealing with it nicely, grabbing his first frag, a little bit of plasma from behind, almost converts with the rail to tie it at 2, so Yup does have to be careful.
I mean, you might be interested to hear this, 40. Quite a few players say that they feel like the bull rush is harder to connect on LAN too. Something about just response times and being able to just really, I mean, we are playing in the setting where everything is as responsive as it possibly can be. It makes the bull rush a bit harder to obtain. However, here we go. Uh-oh, that's not where I thought it would be. Oh, wait a minute. Here I am. I was here all along. It's me, Austin.
Tied at 2. Early on, about 2 minutes in, so still a lot of time for Yup to settle down and try and get more control of this map. Again, fighting for his tournament life here. This could be potentially the last map for his tournament this time around. But at the end of the day, all these players should be proud of themselves for at least making it here. I mean, this is a big deal. This is the big show. Getting here is not easy. Obviously, everyone wants to get as far as they can. Getting knocked out early is not what you want, but still, taking some time to give yourself a pat on the back and say, I made it. I'll look at the VODs. I'll tweak my game and I'll be back. That's pretty much the only way to go. There's a lot of LG coming out. psygib, great rockets as we've saw on map number 1. Just the damage is so high.
If psygib is bringing these rockets today, I feel like psygib's going to have some real surprises for some of these players. Everyone's going to be studying up and watching these matches and they're paying close attention. Oh my lord, 75 damage with Nail just like that. Off just a few of them. Preemptive rocket for the 70, and Yup had such a wonderful stack advantage that was deleted in the blink of an eye, and Yup not in a position to look for it. Does manage to pick up the heavy, but the big boy, that's what I mean! Oh! Large champions on LAN get absolutely melted, and we've seen that for 3 days now.
Just insane play from psygib. That LG really shining through. Yup does have him trapped now with the Ghost Walk. Right in the nick of time to get out of there and maintain this 2-frag lead. Also getting position on the Mega. How many times have we seen Yup go through and just eat rocket damage? That's free damage that psygib will take every day.
Taking the heavy away from Yup, forcing a trade of either side, and you would always kind of prefer the armor as the heavy because you can just become so much safer pushing in, and especially with the Scale Bearer, the damage mitigation of that bull rush. The preemptive tri-bolt, so good. Not quite able to catch him, and the rockets, they've been really good for the whole series, but right in that fight, they just didn't hit anything.
Yeah, missing the mark on that one, and just didn't have the Ghost Walk up in time. Trying to kind of hug the ropes for a little bit, try and pop the Ghost Walk, but Yup got the frag in time, using the Mega nicely here, but he can't land any damage, so he's going to bull rush towards psygib, and those rockets are just waiting, and he won't be able to steal the heavy on his way down. That was catastrophic for Yup.
Oh, psygib!
Bad play.
Sneaky,
He was just
sneaky.
taunting him for the HP. He's like, I know you're going to want this. Very close to a potential telefrag there. That inside out, I think we've seen one so far. I think it was Sirius that got one on Sparty, if I remember correctly, from day 1.
I mean, perhaps.
I hope people have their bingo cards
No,
ready.
I think it was.
Keeping
No,
tallies.
I think I'm thinking of the right match. I think it was that. It was like the real later
On
stages
Insomnia,
of it.
I
It was
think.
later in the
Yeah.
day. I know that for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was on Insomnia, but we've watched a lot of Quake with a lot more on the way, so it all blurs together, ketchup.
It's all going to blend into one, my friend. Don't you worry. But now psygib sitting on a lead, but I certainly wouldn't say a comfortable lead. This can easily turn around, and yup, knows that. So no reason to be overextending. No reason to be overly aggressive. Let's just look for that moment, make it count. A bit harder to do. Was that a fake rocket jump? Rocket jump, I think. Sorry. Interesting stuff there from psygib.
Flurry. Plasma. Yep. Times it pretty well, all things considered. Light armor taken. Bull rush done. Did he connect? It looks like he did, and the Ghost Walk was popped. So now Yup just has to find him. Finds the mark with a little bit of rocket damage. Make it 2. Somehow can't connect. The rail from psygib will take down Yup again, and psygib is so weak. Yup has to be so frustrated, trying to chase, trying to get the trade potential. Decides to opt back and grab the heavy and say, I need to at least maintain map control. psygib's so quick, he'll be able to grab the Mega and stack back up and maintain this 3 frag lead.
Yup did make a good call out on where psygib was going to retreat. Wow! Swapping to the super shotgun where literally 1 extra tick would have finished you off. So that was a clutch weapon swap right there. But there's been a real difference in weapon usage. psygib has lived and breathed this lightning gun, and it's for good reason. You're going up against a heavy champion, you know you're hitting good damage on it, so we're going to go where the damage is going to be at its highest concentration. Yup, on the other hand, you're not going to win those LG fights. There's been such more of an emphasis, so much more of an emphasis on rail at range, rocket up close, even SSG up close, whereas psygib has been almost entirely lightning gun and nail gun, of all things.
Yeah, and it looks like Yup is unlocking the potential of the shotgun, being like, you know, I could chunk through a light champion with this, using it a little more, and he's caught up and whittled it down to 1 frag deficit, which is great if you're a Yup fan. Still has to do a little more work to equalize and potentially take the lead here, as he is going to secure the Mega. psygib opting to grab rail and maybe the armor shard, or light armor, excuse me, in the rail room.
Able to collect heavy too. So psygib disengaging here was not a bad situation to be in, because as we can see here, Yup going straight through that doorway could have been much more damage on a rocket, but psygib, we're kind of really seeing what the new direction will be. It's that slow defensive game. We're not going to play any games with that Ghost Walk. We're going to pop it, and we're going to try not to just waste it.
With the stack, yep, there's the bull rush. You should be able to get this. There's the beautiful jump over from psygib. What a dodge!
Oh
my
saucy.
Goodness.
Wall jump to dodge the bull rush. On this map, there's barely any ceiling to work with.
That was just gorgeous. You can't even really be mad. I mean, you can, but hats off to psygib on that play. But Yup has to focus. 2 minutes left to try and bring this back. That was definitely a moment where he's going to want back, but now it's LG on LG. psygib might go down here, needs to be careful, trying to bob and weave, trying to hit some rails. He's missing, and now this gives an opportunity. Yup goes around the corner, but the Ghost Walk is popped.
A clean escape. I do say, for now, though, as if psygib does get caught down here with no Ghost Walk, he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to fight here, and he knows it. But the LG out of nowhere, I'm telling you. Look at the damage every single time. More rockets. Right as Yup spawns, so I don't even think he had jump over the SSG. He's only just picked it up! And he finally gets it, but it takes a long time to do so. Yup now needs 3 frags, but in 8 seconds time, psygib's going to have another Ghost Walk, and that Ghost Walk has made actually finding him and locking him down so difficult for the team.
It's going to be popped shortly here. There it is. Now, does he choose right? It looks like he might. Can he hit it? Wow. And he does! Fantastic conversion from Yup. And now with a minute, no Ghost Walk for 40 seconds, he has to just play as aggressive as possible.
It's going to be hard to do that, though, 40, because psygib picked up the heavy right off spawn. So even if psygib goes down here, which actually it looks like he won't, the machine gun on its own, the only weapon he had available to him, was enough to shred sufficiently as Yup. Big trouble now. Needed that frag desperately because now 35 seconds on the clock. This is elimination territory. Tries to go in for a bull rush. Does so much damage in the process, though. I mean, 30 seconds. The fact that psygib is obviously delaying the respawns now. Has to find him and make it count. Can you do this, Yup? This is the opportunity. You have to find him, man. You're running out of time.
Might be able to get this one, but no! The LG defense from psygib again, too strong, and with 10 seconds, Yup calls the GGs. That'll be the end of his tournament run, but what a play from psygib. You mentioned catch-up map number 1 and 2. Rockets, absolutely sublime, but the LG, specifically in map number 2, really shone through, especially against that scale. I think he was hitting, what, 50% on the dot with almost 2,000 damage.
Know your matchups. That's something that is becoming so important in the world of Quake Champions, and it kind of goes to show the progression of the game as an esport, because there really are, we are starting to see those kind of, fighting game tendencies where we're now starting to look at the fact that it's 1v1, sure, but different health values, different abilities, different passives, the whole lot. Now it goes beyond just what the player will do. Being able to go in that second map and go, right, I'm on LAN and I'm going up against a scale bearer who is going to be so vulnerable to LG. That is going to be my focus. This is the scale bearer matchup. I got to play the matchup correctly. And he did it perfectly and more, which was enough to push forward here in the lower bracket. Unfortunately for Yup, will be saying goodbye. Wonderful to see him. He's been full of energy, clearly just ecstatic to be here and to be part of the experience, and clearly no slouch, as Yup had to qualify to be here in the first place, right? This is a collection of the best from all over the world, so I can definitely say 40. Proud of them, and I think they can leave this event with their head held high. They made it, and that's very, very important.
100%. Yup worked extremely hard to qualify and get here. They should be very, very proud. Again, unfortunate circumstances, getting knocked out early into the lower bracket, all that stuff is terrible, but you made it here, you're on LAN, and this is hopefully just the beginning for Yup. So hopefully we'll see him more in the future, but for now, that's the end of his tournament run. That's the end for us here on the B Stream. We'll be back shortly. We just take a quick break. We're going to just churn through these games today, so we'll see you shortly.